Hello, I'm Silva. It's undoubted that an excellent engineer should have not only technical knowledge, but also the non-technical skills. And one of the most important non-technical ability would be leadership. I believe we all know about what is leadership. Simply, leadership means leaders or the ability to lead a team to work effectively and productively. Nowadays, someone with great leadership skills would absolutely be Bill Gates, who drives Microsoft and software industry to success. However, why engineers need leadership skills? To point out the importance of leadership in engineering, I interviewed an assistant director in iLead. Her name is Annie Simpson.
Leadership skills are incredibly important for engineers on so many levels. One of the reasons is that engineers are involved in solving problems and developing new technologies that affect the way that we all live our life. And if engineers are not fully aware of the impact that they're having, so they're not aware of different stakeholders, they're not aware of how to work with people who are different from them, then they're not going to be as effective. If they just have technical skill, but they don't have a sense of who they are, what they stand for, what their personal ethics are, how to work well with other people, how to convince other people that their point of view is the right way to go, these are all things that are leadership skills. Engineers, I think, need to be more broadly educated. So it's wonderful to be so skilled in the realm of technology and math and science. That's such an incredible skill set to have. But engineers need to also be aware of how to build effective relationships with people, how to communicate their point of view, how to persuade, how to inspire, because these are all things that amplify and multiply their impact.
According to Andy, leadership is extremely critical for engineers. However, someone would argue that we can put a manager in the project team in order to lead engineers to work. So, engineers don't need leadership skills. But
if you have ever had an experience of managing somebody who doesn't know how to communicate and who doesn't listen and who doesn't collaborate well with other people, just wants to do their own work and doesn't want to be disturbed, or doesn't isn't able to engage with you in conversation, they're no fun to manage, and that person is not going to be promoted to any higher level. So that engineer that's part of that team, even if they feel there's somebody else who's the leader, there's somebody else who has to take care of all that stuff or who is taking care of that stuff, if they want to stay in their position forever, then that's great. But if they want to actually advance their career, then they need to develop leadership skills. So having emotional intelligence, having self-awareness, these are all really important parts of leadership. So when we're talking about leadership, we're not just talking about we're not talking about necessarily being the person in charge. We're talking about people who know who they are, can communicate with others effectively, have a sense of their personal values, and know how to work well in a team.
Well, so engineers have to work together in a team to take the responsibility for development of technology. So leadership is considered to be a tool to help engineers to communicate and collaborate with others. Additionally, the purpose of leadership in engineering is to inspire others, but not just charge somebody. However,
there's so many ways, and there's so many places where a person could begin. So For some people, they want to get involved in some kind of a campus group, and they want to run in an election, and they want to have a position within an organization. That's great. That's a very hands-on experience. For other people who want to approach it in a little bit more of a slower, gentler way, we have certificate programs that we offer where people go through lots of experiential exercises in teams, but they get to reflect on themselves a lot. And people can start by learning about themselves. So some people want to start their leadership development by looking at themselves. Other people are in the first year course where they work in a team, and it's through all of their team projects that they realize, oh, this is challenging working with other people. This is actually really difficult. And what is the role that I tend to play, and what are the ways that I support the team, and what are the ways that I'm not really supporting the team?
As Annie mentioned, the best way to develop our engineering leadership should be engaged in the teams or organizations. So,
there's so many ways to be a leader, so we have to be true to who we are. And some people are really naturally skilled in other areas and not so much in others, and others in different and not so much in others. So some people are really good with relationship management, and that's a real leadership quality. So they can build trust, they listen, they ask questions, they build the trust of a group, and through those strong relationships they have the influence to lead. Whereas other people might be very, very task-oriented. So they are the ones that create real efficient plans, and they delegate and all those things, and that's a really wonderful way to lead as well. So there's so many different ways to lead, and it's really about knowing what our strengths are and really capitalizing on what we are naturally good at, and becoming aware of what we're not good at, so that we can ask other people and empower other people to fill those roles. So that would be one thing. I think in order to be effective on a team, you need to know what you're good at, and you need to know what you're not good at, so that you can contribute what you're good at and not have the things that you're not good at sabotage the other team members.
In general, leadership development is not easy, mainly because it's the lifelong process, but it's interesting. Importantly, leadership is an indispensable skill for engineers. With leadership skills, engineers can guide less experienced peers and influence decision makers in their organizations. As an engineering student, hopefully, we will pay more attention to the leadership of engineering.